What's up, YouTube? I'm Edge22, and if you're watching this video, because it's Sony Michel, I know he's not a top running back, so I'm going to assume you guys are a Patriots fan if you're watching this video. So if you're a Patriots fan, shout out to you guys. Follow this channel. I'm going to keep you guys posted, and I'm going to get into a lot of Patriots content for this upcoming season, so I got you guys covered. But with that being said, man, we're going to get into it. Sony Michel, is he a bust? You know, that's probably the first thing I got to mention, because that's a lot of things that I'm starting to hear from New England fans is Sony Michel's a bust. I get it just because of the amount of success he's had within his first 2 years in New England. Being a first overall pick, you know, we would assume, you know, he would be on not an elite level, but we would have thought he would have been at least 1,000-yard rusher by now, right? You know, looking at his stats and just from the very beginning, from his rookie year, I mean, everything looked like everything was falling into play. You know, he had a great season. We made a run to the Super Bowl against the Rams. In that Rams game, he had a lot of big runs. You know, he made a lot of big plays for us. And I thought he would carry that juice into, you know, his sophomore year. And it just seems like things kind of went downhill for him last year because of, you know, the offense of New England and Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady. It just seems like everything was you know, just everything was out of sync. And I also try to, you know, dig deep to see, you know, what really happened with Michel. Was he injured? Because I know he was injured a couple games last year, and that might have played a part in why he, you know, didn't have the amount of success he had. But, you know, as I took a look, I also seen how, you know, Bill Belichick was trying to, you know, turn Sony into a receiving back. And that's probably one problem of why, you know, Sony didn't, you know, have the opportunities he had with his team, because we were trying to turn him into being a dynamic back where he can be a rusher and be a pass catcher. But I just look at it like when you draft a player, you have to use him for what he's good at. You know, you're trying to turn him into a receiving back. That's not his, you know, that's just not his caliber. That's not his style of plays. You know, trying to make him catch from the backfield and use him for screens. That's why we have James White. And you could also say that about Rex Burkhead, because, you know, Rex Burkhead is another guy that is more versatile than a Sony. You know, Sony, to me, I look at him more of just a rusher, you know, a natural-born Russian running back. So just to get into the numbers, again, I mean, he's definitely dipped from, you know, his first year there. You know, in 2018, he had 931 yards rushing with 4.5 yards per carry. And looking at last year, he ran for 912 yards. I mean, you kind of look at the numbers. Both years he ran for 900 yards, but last year he had 247 attempts running the football. You know, with that much carries, you should be at 1,000 yards rushing. So, you know, it just doesn't look good for Sony looking at the numbers, you know, because he did get the opportunity. He got a lot of touches. He got more touches than his first year, and to only average 3.7 yards per carry, you know, that's definitely a slump. He did rush for 7 touchdowns, but I do remember 3 of those touchdowns was against the Jets. You know, those were goal line sets where he had those scorers, and that was his best game. But outside of that, he didn't really have a consistent year. So, you know, this upcoming year, I think this is going to be the year where Sony's going to have to step up and make a name for himself, because, you know, looking at the guys we have, okay, we have Sony, we have James White, we have Rex Burkhead, we have Brandon Bolden. Brandon Bolden don't really count. You know, we use him for special teams. But Damian Harris, now this is a guy that's going to come for the throne. And Sony better gear up and try to, you know, be able to sustain that starting position, because this guy, Damian Harris, could be on the rise, and he can possibly get some snaps next year, depending on, you know, his work ethic and what he does in training camp for this upcoming year. Now, he was drafted in the 3rd round. You know, in the 2019 NFL draft, he was our 87th overall pick, and, you know, he's going to make some noise. He's from Alabama, so, you know, he's definitely going to try to make a name for himself this year. And just seeing this new system with Jarrett Stidham, you know, we're going to have to rely on the run game. It's still kind of undecisive what we're going to do. Are the Patriots going to be a passing team? Are they going to rely on the run? We don't know, but Sony Michel is going to have to step up his A game, because this guy, Damian Harris, is he going to come for that spot to be a starter at some point if Sony doesn't, you know, gather himself and, you know, move forward, battle through the injuries, and really try to get this upcoming season, you know, for him to prepare and get ready, because this is going to be a long season for everyone, not just for running backs, but for receivers. You know, Jarrett Stidham, there's a lot of pressure on him, so everyone has to step up. But Sony coming into his third year. Whatever happened last year, I think this is a fresh new start, and I think this is his time to be focused. And for me, I have a lot of hope in Sony. I don't think he's gonna be a bust. I think he's gonna have a better year than he did last year, just for a lot of reasons. Like I said, I know he dealt with like right knee soreness and he had injuries, but this year I think is a clean slate, and I think he won't be in the doghouse with Belichick. Because Belichick loves doing that to his running backs. But Sony being the first number one overall pick, on the offensive side, Belichick, he mainly drafts guys in the first round with his first round picks with defensive players. But for it to be Sony, I mean, this is like our golden guy, man. And I just don't want Sony to be our top draftee on offense that we drafted and we have to shop for him because he wasn't successful. So I just hope he can really move forward and try to make this season count, because everyone is counting on him. Jarrett Stidham could only do so much, but we need a running game. We haven't had a franchise running back since Lawrence Maroney. And if you ask me, Lawrence Maroney wasn't even that good. I mean, sure, he had some success with us, but when I watched him play, it just seems like every time he got the ball, he always got tackled right away. That's just how I always seen Lawrence Maroney. But Sony Michel can be our golden child. He can be our franchise running back. And I think this is his time because, like I mentioned before, Damian Harris is a guy that's hungry. He was drafted from Alabama last year. I believe he only had 4 carries for like 13 yards last year. So if the opportunity comes, he's going to come for that throne. He's going to come for that position. But I want to hear your guys' opinion on Sony. Do you think he's going to be a bust? Do you think, do you guys have hope for him? What is your outlook on Sony? Patriot fans, I want to hear your thoughts on Sony moving forward. So just to give you guys some content, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Patriots Nation, subscribe. I got you guys covered. See you guys on my next video. Peace.